Actually, what is your biggest real estate mantra, Wang? You have a quote here. Actually, this is very famous and one of mine too. Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay, it is starts with don't something to do something, do it the other way. No?
No.
Don't wait to buy real estate.
Oh yeah.
Buy real estate and wait.
Yes.
Yeah. So Thatch talks about that. Actually, a lot of investors talk about that, and I think it's very true. Like, I don't know how many conversations you and I or everyone's gonna have in our careers about should've bought,
Yeah.
should've bought,
Yeah.
should've bought,
I felt that a little bit ago. I forgot.
should've bought. All right, cool. So love that quote. Thanks for sharing that. And then we will talk about a couple things. So we'll move down to the next portion of our conversation here. And let's start with question number one. You were talking about your degree, your specialty, your area of expertise, your training, where you've worked. Well, tell me a little bit about what you did when you were an acting scientist in pharmaceuticals.
Sure. So I did a few things. I think my career, when I graduated school, I kind of had a couple routes, a couple options to pick from. One was obviously the pharmaceutical route, but my thesis, believe it or not, was in liposuction, taking nanotechnology and applying it to liposuction. So I kind of had that dual route option to go with.
Okay.
I ended up electing the pharmaceutical route, just kind of how things ended up working out. I took a job in LA where I was a research scientist, did a few projects there, really enjoyed it, but at the time...
Is that the whole thing with the lab and the coat and the thing in the back room with the microscopes and the whole thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
A lot of instruments that do many different things.
Any animals back there?
No, I did not do animals. You have to have a separate housing for the animals.
Gosh, so no Stephen King novels are coming out of your lab.
No. But animal research is very important because it's a foundational block to advancing science and research.
Understood.
Yeah, especially in the farm area.
I'm making jokes, but you're obviously a professional, so yes. Take Wang's word for it, not mine.
So I ended up looking for opportunities back in San Diego because my girlfriend, now wife, was back in San Diego.
Congratulations on your second baby, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Little Wang.
He's growing real fat.
Nice.
Already 15 pounds.
Love it, dude.
But yeah, so I ended up relocating back to San Diego to be back together with her. And it was in Big Pharma. It was at a company called Celgene, which was a Fortune 500 company at the time. And about a month after I started, we learned that we're being acquired by Bristol Myers Squibb, another Fortune 500 company. So when you go into pharma, people kind of tell you, or like it's expected that you will spend a stint in Big Pharma. I just didn't really expect it to come so early in my career. But I ended up going there, went through the whole corporate merger thing, saw, went through one of the largest Fortune 500, one of the largest mergers in history, right? A Fortune 500 company buying another Fortune 500 company. Made the news everywhere. It was an interesting experience. Saw a lot of corporate stuff, saw a lot of bureaucracy, things like that. But
shout out Office Space. What is it you would say that you actually do here? If you haven't seen the movie, you should see it. It's a classic.
yeah,
Yeah.
I read Stapler.
I think it'd be a great teacher.
Yeah. So long story short, I ended up getting this is kind of where my career took a turn, I suppose. A recruiter had reached out, and it was a very unique position. And in the book I recommended to you recently, the Surrender Experiment, right? It's about when things come into your life, when opportunities come up. Do you take it and run with it, or do you, keep going on in your lane? So this was a very unique position in that it was a chief scientific officer position for someone who has a PhD in liposuction. How many of those people are you going to find in the country? And in San Diego specifically?
Probably not that many, is my guess. A
No.
PhD in liposuction.
Yes.
Yeah, probably not that many.
So I kind of saw it as a sign, and obviously, it was a very attractive package as well. The offering was that I would go there and kind of take over for the retiring CEO. So that was a draw as well, because I've always been somewhat entrepreneurial, and I would like the opportunity to go there and kind of wear multiple hats, learn the business.
Be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and have the opportunity to take over.
Yeah.
So I ended up leaving there. It was in the midst of COVID, late 2020. Started there. The company was in Carlsbad. Really liked it there. The first year, or my full year there, 2021, was also the year I had my first baby, my daughter. But we ended up doubling revenue.
Abby and Abby.
Yes.
We learned that today.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we ended up doubling revenue because I think there was multiple factors, right? During COVID, people were at home, not having to go to the office. So they were able to take on liposuction and things like that. So the company sold liposuction products and adipose and fat related products and disposables. So liposuction was very popular during that time. And the market just kind of went crazy for that. When I went there, I ended up, even though I was in a scientific position, I saw that there was a lot to do at the small company. We were, 4 or 5 people.
So is that the time you would say in your career where the entrepreneurial like sort of switch got flipped when you went from being a practicing scientist to a business person and seeing sort of the other side of the wall, so to speak, where the money gets moved and product placement and marketing and relationships versus acting as, a scientist?
No, absolutely. I think so. I mean, I was in grad school. I applied for this program. I wrote a grant for a program that gave graduate students $50,000 to do customer research, right? In entrepreneurship, they always say you're building around the customer. And $50,000 was no small amount, right? Because compared to like how much a graduate student will make in a year. So I got a $50,000 grant, went out and interviewed doctors, patients, nurses, anybody in like the whole chain to see if the research we were doing would have an impact on society. So that was, I think, my first exposure. But obviously, joining a small company.
That's when you were young and fresh and thought it was just all about doing good.
Yep.
They were like, this kind of shit. No, this is all about the money, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you stepped into the CEO role. You started...
Not CEO role. I was shadowing the CEO.
Okay, the switch started to get turned on more than it was before. Absolutely. When you were in grad school interviewing these sort of business type people. And you were there for a while. You saw the acquisition, like you had said. You worked for a smaller company. Tell the story about how you took the sales from, the number they were and doubled them, maybe the business relationship that you built over in Japan, and how you recognized that opportunity and sort of closed that deal.
Yeah, definitely. So I did a few things. On the scientific side of my main role, one of my projects was to get a product through the FDA clearance process. And so I hired a external compliance person, and we walked through that whole process, and it took 13 months, and I got that product approved.
Nice. How was that like walking through that red tape?
It wasn't too bad, because on the medical, that was the other thing I saw. On the medical device side, I don't want to say easy, but much easier compared to the pharma side.
Drugs.
Yeah, drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs take on average 7 to 10 years. 7 if you're very, very lucky. 10 years or longer.
And a tremendous amount of capital involved, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the medical device side, the barrier is much lower. So we were able to leverage a special rule in the FDA guidance and get that approved very quickly.
Awesome.
Yeah. In addition to that, I was always looking out for opportunities to, bring more revenue to the company, bring more customers to the company. And so one of the things I saw was a distributor had reached out to us from Japan. And we had a distributor at the time, but my understanding was that he wasn't really performing up to par, and there was a lot of opportunity there. And my CEO at the time, he was very focused on building and expanding the business in the US. While he had that distributor, he wasn't really looking to grow. So a second group reached out, and I never let a lead go dry, right? I always explore every lead until it turns to a dead end, or if I find something.
You are tenacious.
Thank you.
You are, man. That's a skill.
So that's what it ended up leading to. I followed up with these distributors. They're like, we love your product. We would really like to distribute it. We have 20 customers lined up ready to buy if you want to, get on a call with us. So I arranged for everything, got on a call, convinced my CEO to give these guys a chance. My CEO was very loyal, right? He was very loyal to his current distributor. But I, explained to him that just because you're it's not conflicting to be loyal to your current distributor and still have other people working for you.
Sure.
So got on the call. Long story short, they ended up ordering 20 of our liposuction units on the first order. And it was so unexpected that our operations guy was like, there's no way I could even deliver this,
Yeah, we talked about that before. They weren't sales, you give them sales, and it's like,
yeah.
What are we going to do?
It's going to take
you got to do your job now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it ended up resulting in $800,000 of sales from that one email that, I could have ignored. I could have been like, oh, we don't do outside of the country. But I tugged at it, pulled the string, and then it unraveled into this huge opportunity.
Love it. And so you ended up increasing revenue significantly at the company.